Okay, so one thing that we need to know about our cardiac muscle, slightly different from the, actually very different from the skeletal muscle or the smooth muscle, because when you talk about smooth muscle or skeletal muscle, they are neurogenic. Sorry. Now, what does mean neurogenic? Neurogenic means that they need to have the nerve impulses, okay, or action potential. They only listen to these two, nerve impulses or action potential, so that they can contract, okay? So, but the slight difference in this case, smooth muscle is involuntary. Now, what's mean involuntary? It means that you do not need to control them by using your conscious regions of your brain. Are you clear? Involuntary. So it means that you do not need to ask them to contract. Okay, they will contract it according to the stimulus. Okay, skeletal muscle, they are neurogenic, but they are voluntary. Voluntary basically means that you need a conscious regions of your brain to make them contract. For example, your bicep and tricep, walking, talking, eating, those you need to actually use the conscious regions of your brain to actually instruct them. Okay, but for cardiac muscle, they are myogenic. Myogenic basically means that they do not need, okay, the nerve impulse of action potential to tell them you have to contract. Okay, so how they contract? They contract because of a pacemaker. They are myogenic. They contract by themselves. We have whole patch or one patch of the cells that actually stimulate. Okay, so the way they actually spread out, they depend on what? They depend on the excitation wave. It's an electrical excitation wave. Okay, so it's the difference from the nerve impulse and action potential. Okay, and they are involuntary. Luckily, means that we do not need our conscious regions of the brain keep on reminding our heart to contract. If no, one day you forget to ask your heart to contract, then that's all forever. You don't need to contract. Are you clear? So we do not need to use our conscious region of the brains to actually instruct our cardiac muscle because they are myogenics, they are involuntary. Okay, so I say that they are myogenics, highlight. So how we initiate contraction and relaxations in our heart, generally, they do not need to receive the impulses from the nerve to make it contract because they are not neurogenics, they are myogenics. So the cardiac cycle initiated by a special patch of the muscle cells at the right atrium there, known as cyanoatrial nodes. So these cyanoatrial nodes will act as the pacemaker. They are the ones that start the contraction. Are you clear? So this process, actually, if you look at the diagram here, let me enlarge the diagrams. So you can see that, okay, sorry. Okay, you can see that now. Look at this. So this part is our right atrium. This is our right ventricle, left atrium, left ventricle. Okay, so what actually happened here is who set the rhythm in this case is number one here is the SAN, cyanoatrial nodes. So SAN actually is the one that set up. So how is set up? So as I said that in previous lesson, these cardiac muscle, they are interconnected. So means that they are very, very tightly joined to another, one to another. So means that you try to imagine, you hold hand, the whole group hold hand. So, okay, everyone hold hand. So the first one actually pull your hand. You will feel it, right? When you feel it already, you pull your friend hands. So it will continue to spread this way. Are you clear? So the first person, okay, contract, okay, this SAN contract, it will trigger the rest of the cardiac muscle cell to contract. Are you clear? So this is number two. Here actually is spread out what we call the electrical excitation wave. Are you clear? So when the SAN contract, what they do, they send out this electrical excitation wave. Okay, so this electrical excitation wave pass to who? So first we'll pick up by the right atrium, then continue by the left atrium. Which one first? Right atrium first, followed by left atrium. So will they contract simultaneously? Answer is almost simultaneously. So first, SAN set the rhythm. So SAN contract. So the SAN contract is going to spread out this electrical excitation wave. So this electrical excitation wave will be received by the cardiac muscle at the right ventricle and also the left ventricle, causing this atrium to contract simultaneously. Okay, so both of them simultaneously, they will contract. But which one, if we look at it, which one first? Yes, right atrium first, then followed by the left atrium. But in terms of the delay, is not much actually. So that's why we say that they contract almost simultaneously. Okay, now this is at the atrium. Okay, at the atrium. So this atrium contract, but this excitation wave here between the atrium and ventricle, we have no conducting fiber here. No conducting fiber. So if no conducting fiber, can I spray it down? No. So who have to be in charge? We have the second nodes here called atrial ventricular nodes. So these atrial ventricular nodes are in short forms AV node. So what is the function of AV node? AV node, because it at the somewhere near to the atrium, therefore they can pick up the signal and then spread the signal down. So this part is called bundle of His. So you're going down, the excitation wave will go down from the AV node all the way down to the base of the septum. Are you clear? All the way down to the base of the septum, and then move upward through this Purkinje. Okay, in some books use Purkinje, some use Purkinje fiber, JE or Y. Okay, YE. So either Purkinje. Okay, I think that some of you learned before in the Purkinje fiber. Some you may learn about the Purkinje fiber. Okay, so KYNE. Okay, Purkinje fiber, but it's the same thing. So what happened here is this electrical excitation wave move down through this, the wall of the septum, through this fiber known as the bundle of His. So this bundle of His then continue to the base of the septum and then spread upward. Can you see that? So when this electrical excitation wave spread upward, what will happen? The wall now respond to this electrical excitation wave by contraction. So now there's a delay. Because there's delay already, can you see that? When the excitation wave delay, so means that atrial already done the contractions already. And now because of delay, okay, delay of transmitting this wave, excitation wave, then you can see that who receives first, the bottom of the ventricle receives first compared to the upper part. So means that the blood will be squeezed bottom up, empty the blood into either aorta or pulmonary artery. Can you see that? Okay, so again, guys, so how you describe it? First, you can see that this is the SAN, cyanoatrial node. So cyanoatrial node do what? Cyanoatrial node actually start the initiates the cardiac cycle. How it initiates? They will contract it. So the contractions of the SAN actually spread out, okay, or send out this electrical excitation wave, and this electrical excitation wave will be picked up by our atrium, both atrial. So they respond, atrial respond by the atrium contraction. So atrial systole take place. So when atrial systole take place, so means that the blood increase the pressure. So now pressure, the high pressure, make sure that the blood now enter into the ventricle. Okay, and this excitation waves also will pick up by this AVN. Why must be AVN? Because there is no conducting fiber between the left atrium and also the between the atrium and also the ventricle. So therefore, this AVN pick up the signal or pick up this excitation wave, send the excitation wave through the bundle of His at the septum, all the way down to the base or the apex of the septum, and then move upward through the Purkinje fiber or Purkinje tissues. So these Purkinje tissues, okay, in our syllabus called Purkinje tissues. So these Purkinje tissues against what will happen? Our cardiac muscle at the ventricle wall respond to this electrical excitation wave by contractions, but because it's going from down upwards, right? So it means that the contractions start from the bottom up. Can you see that? Bottom up. So when bottom up, you're going to squeeze the bloods now from bottom into bottom up into our aorta or pulmonary artery. Pulmonary artery. Are you clear? So this is how the process actually take place. Okay. So what you need to do now, arrange. Okay, arrange the following in the correct order. Okay, so let us look at the answer. So first thing we have to do is to make sure that SAN set the rhythms. Okay, set the rhythm. So answer Q. So SAN set the rhythm for all the other cardiac muscle cells by setting up a wave of electrical activities. Okay, so this is called a wave of the electrical activity or electrical excitation wave. Okay, so other word you can use. So electrical excitation wave. Okay, so next, what we do, this so this wave will be rapidly cover or over the whole atrial wall. So cardiac muscle respond and contracts almost simultaneously, left and right. Okay, so S, and then next. After that, we have the AV nodes that pick up the excitation wave. And then this wave have to pass onto the conducting fiber known as a bundle of His. So the bundle of His then go down, right? The wave will run down to the base of the septum between the ventricle T, and then the wave spread outwards and upward through the Purkinje fiber in ventricle wall, causing the ventricle to contract simultaneously from the bottom up. So empty the bloods upwards into the artery. So this artery is referred to the aorta or pulmonary artery. Okay, clear so far? Any question? Yeah, if no questions, then we have done for the control.